Welcome back to Phoenix Wright,
Hello,
Ace
hello.
Attorney, Attorney at Law, Rise from the Ashes. So, this has been quite a case so far.
And we're not even
Yes, it
halfway
has
through.
been.
How come the
We're
same
not?
person got killed twice?
Because
And in the same place?
It's a good
or different
question.
places?
oh
Yeah.
yeah, the same person was murdered twice at the same time in two locations, which are like 30 minutes apart by car.
Pretty messed up, if true.
And the
Don't worry
defendant,
about it.
so Detective Goodman, John
Yes.
Goodman.
Yep.
No, what's his?
Bruce Goodman, actually.
Bruce Goodman. Okay. I knew it wasn't John, but I love John Goodman in everything he's in.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, I know
So
what
he-
happened. I know what
So he
happened.
was murdered in the parking lot of the prosecutor's office with the knife by Colonel Mustard. As or
Under our Cowboy Bebop.
yeah, our client Lana Sky. No, yes, Lana Sky. This is completely for my own sake that I'm going through all this.
Great.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay, what's your theory?
I agree with Dragoni. So there's a common theory that if you go back in time and meet yourself, there is a quantum law that only one can be alive at a time. So one of them has
Oh.
to die. However, they effectively killed each other.
Okay. It accidentally killed both of them. Okay, so it's kind of a Futurama.
Yeah. Like,
Anyway,
fuck you both.
at the same time, Bruce Goodman was also killed in the evidence room of the police station.
Yes.
Not
Correct.
the current evidence room, not the evidence lockup that we got tased in last time, but a different place.
And-
And he was killed by our good friend Officer
Meekins.
Meekins.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
remember
Allegedly, all of this is allegedly, and so we're gonna talk to our good buddy Miles Edgeworth.
So, how did the inquiry committee go?
Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation.
Which is correct.
Concealing evidence.
Oh, right, because there was
He-
just because
He
Meekins
rejected
came in.
Meekins.
Yeah,
He paid for it.
yes. Apparently, there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again.
Again.
I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
DL666.
So, you okay for the trial tomorrow?
Well, I'm still the presiding prosecuting attorney despite my conflict of interests. However, considering
Something happened?
the victim was murdered in my car with my knife,
No, he's the best man for the job, though. It can't be anyone but him.
they gave control of the investigation over to the police department, which shouldn't they have had anyway?
The police department.
Yes, screw them. Any further investigation for this case will be directed by the Chief of Police Gant. Look, he's dating the defense attorney. We are way past conflict of interest here. They did not
Wow.
file the necessary HR paperwork. Everyone's very uncomfortable with this. I can do nothing but wait for his results.
I see.
Why, I ask you? Why? All along, I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of.
Yes.
But still.
Wow, I've never seen him go this out of sorts.
Should we show him some evidence?
Yes, the badge.
Oh, right, we have
Yes.
Obviously.
we have two full
Slap
pages
him with the glove.
of evidence. Oh, whoops.
That's normal.
That's different. Right. Please. I'm the prosecutor on this case. Don't expect me to sit here and discuss the case with you over a cup of tea?
Yes.
Kinda.
Yes.
A little bit. I'll pass on the tea. Just tell me about that case. Come on.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Edgeworth just told you no in a very polite manner.
It's not
No,
like there's a
it didn't.
law that means I have to share evidence with you when it's submitted to
What?
the trial.
Wonder, have you been watching Legal?
Maybe.
Whose side are you on anyway? Maybe if I just show him my best evidence, I can get some reaction out of him. Okay, let's
But
look
also,
at what
that's
he
like
got.
a well-known thing.
Did we already talk to him about the fact that so much of the stuff is related to him? Like his knife and such?
I'm sure. That's.
Okay.
I think they determined
Well, I
that
was
it was just because it was the car was
Oh.
happened to be in the parking lot.
Your list of numbers. Your list of numbers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. For the IDs.
Oh, right. I better check this now.
As I was saying, Huh! What's this? A record of ID card usage?
Oh.
Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less.
Yes, that's true.
Why, Mr. Edgeworth?
Because I'm a prosecutor. That's my job. Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go. By Chief Gant, no less.
Oh.
The chief of police?
He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office.
But it was solved, right? It would have to be if the evidence was already filed.
The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here.
Wait a minute. Is that the screwdriver that was sticking out of the desk drawer from the Gatewater Hotel?
No, that
Maybe.
can't be the same
It's
screwdriver.
the same color.
Half a year ago.
Oh
Huh.
my
I'm not
god.
Can I ask what kind of case it was?
I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case.
Now I'm curious about this other case. I better make a note of it.
AI 6.
Oh yeah, the bellboy was in here, wasn't he?
He was.
Oh, yeah,
but
that same bellboy.
Hmm.
Huh.
Do you think the bellboy's the murderer?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
April,
Yes.
May.
He hid the gun inside the teapot.
Oh man, April May coming back for revenge. Oh no.
Or Grossberg back for revenge, to avenge the death of his lover.
You will never take him with armor.
Stubborn as always. I told you this has nothing to do with the current case. Does that mean we're on a
Well.
third page of evidence? Yeah, third page of
Yeah.
evidence.
Here we go.
What I always wanted.
Do I hear 4?
Do me a favor and check the knife. Check his own knife. Okay, that one.
I know you. You've probably got a hold of some information already, right?
Wow. It all has to do with that case you were on, the SL9 incident. And some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in.
You were the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later.
He must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Yeah, I made you
DL6,
feel better. Just a few
DL6.
I did make you feel a bit better about it though, right? In the end? I don't know.
I mean,
Okay.
technically, yes.
Turns
Yeah,
out the man who killed my father was the man who raised me as his own son.
Yeah, but you didn't do it. Okay, Edgeworth, why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth.
Come on.
Come
That isn't a
on, we're
forgery.
friends.
Oh, right, the SL9. They've been talking about this. The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant.
That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago too, then?
So at this point, all we know about this case 2 years ago is that, like, a bunch of people lost their jobs afterwards.
Yeah.
And there were allegations of, because of allegations of forged evidence. Okay. He was a top officer, and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous.
I'm kind of nervous.
I'm using tilt controls.
I
Wow,
have
you
some
get nervous
controls.
too, Mr. Edgeworth?
Dunktastic!
What I want to know is why was a deputy chief of police on the investigation?
In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a
That
vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed.
Wait, you didn't?
Of course not! I didn't touch the evidence.
Good.
Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However,
Legal power.
I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully.
But I won't do that.
I would do anything for a win. But by the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something.
My sister? What?
If you were still studying forensic science,
Huh? Yes, of course. Why, today, or just today, Mr. Wright and I were using this.
Emma.
luminol testing fluid, Well then, you might have use for this.
More DS control?
Yeah.
Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints?
Yes, aluminium powder. It's been chemically treated for better adhesion.
He would.
Get it because accents.
Yeah.
For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know.
I've no say in today's investigation. Do as you will.
Edgeworth. I'm really...
No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved.
That's a lot of information, thank you. Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe, though? Sounds good.
Nah, obviously he trusts the teenager more.
Understandable.
Well, let's get going. One last investigation.
Where?
Right. Well, that sure seems like progress. I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. Yeah, this is
There's
great.
actually, there's actually two that I can think of off the top of my head.
Who was
Ah,
it?
I wonder where the other one is.
I forget where the other one
What?
is.
Well, where's the one?
In the evidence room.
Check it out.
Oh, on the door. Right.
Guard station.
No.
Evidence room.
Yes.
February
Ah.
Sorry,
23rd.
different no.
Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint.
Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker.
Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed.
Borrow. They gave it to you.
Yeah, you're borrowing it from him.
Yeah, minigame time.
Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger.
Choose a fingy.
A fingy?
Each fingy leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose the fingy that will leave behind the clearest print.
I really can't tell the difference at a glance.
I've created a monster.
How can you
Quit
do this?
procrastinating and choose a fingy.
Fine.
So this one
Ooh,
probably.
scary.
Pinky.
Oops.
Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done.
Okay, how are they
No,
going to the microphone?
no, fingerprints. I don't think so.
Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes.
First, we sprinkle the aluminum powder around
Huh? How do you do that?
with the A button, see?
Ah, looks like that did the trick. No motion controls here. Or tapping controls, I guess.
Yeah.
The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print.
I have the power.
Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess.
Using the Nintendo DS microphone.
Huh? How do I do that on a Wii?
With the X button.
I think on the
Exciting, I know.
Wii you shook the controller to shake it off.
That
Am
makes sense.
Emma, I don't actually get to blow it away. Oh.
No microphone here. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. See?
Oh yes, that's how I blow out candles on a birthday cake with the X button.
X.
Wow, that looks like fun. It might take some getting used to, though.
Yes, I too have a difficult time pressing the X button.
Hmm.
Fine, it won't go up your nose or anything. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright.
I guess I better give it a try. So, the fact that this is on the Wii removes this as a problem, but I remember back
This is on
when...
the Switch.
Yeah, he's playing the
Oh,
Switch version.
Oh, this is a Switch version. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Back when you played it on the DS and you actually had to blow into the mic, you were like looking around and like, oh no, I'm weird. I'm blowing on the microphone in public. What's going on?
Aha! You did it! You found one!
Well, your first mistake was playing in public.
Yeah, probably. But this looks like nothing like a fingerprint. I mean, it was on the DS. It was meant to be.
Is that child blowing on the face of a Fire Emblem character?
Oh,
Lord.
Does that happen? Wait, does that
Oh,
happen?
no,
That's a thing.
Oh
Is
no.
it?
It's a
it
thing in the
isn't.
Japanese version of Fire
No,
Emblem.
Right.
it still isn't.
Uh-oh. Conflicting
What did that then?
You could just tap them.
But
you
you
could
could,
use
still blow on
And like
them.
this is right after the Pokemon thing where you could like
yeah,
make
you
faces at them and give them scritches, and then Fire Emblem came out right after that and did the exact same thing with real human people.
And then it was weird.
It was
Pet
weird.
this muscular man!
Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't.
What does it mean?
Was wearing gloves.
I think it means we're out of luck.
Out of luck.
The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves.
Or it's the dude from the last case who had no fingerprints left on his hands.
Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here.
From the what?
Oh,
Oh, from the
What?
last.
Yogi?
From
Yeah,
the last.
Yogi?
Old dude?
The
yeah, he like
last
took off his
case.
fingerprints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes with scientific investigations. But does
There you
seem
go.
a shame.
Get blinded with science.
While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints?
Other prints.
Looking at the locker door again closely, it seems like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well.
Oh.
Let's see if we can find a clear print.
Fingerprints outside the blood. Okay, kid.
this?
Can you find the fingerprint? It's there. It's over there. Okay.
It's
Wow,
on the table.
It just went straight into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, is it not? Oh, I see.
It's not
bottom-
proper enough. Bottom left.
Bottom left, yeah? Or top?
Just give it another layer.
What?
Just
Center?
Mid.
More in the middle.
I'm just gonna try. Just give it a good thick dusting. Nice and
There.
thick.
That should be.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, it's so thick.
How much is? How much of the stuff do we have?
As much
Oh, yeah,
as
that was
you
actually-
need.
That was actually limited in the DS version, so you couldn't just do this.
Wow.
Oh, really?
I think
They
maybe we're
obviously
good.
removed that, but because
Yeah.
that was silly.
It's
Well,
snowing.
it made it so that whenever you blew, then you got it back again.
Just
Ah.
opened the whole container.
Weird.
Do you think you have enough?
No.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Hey, what does this button do?
Push.
There we go.
Extra doubt.
Yay! A print so clear, it's dazzling!
It fucking better be. Dazzling?
Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find.
I'll say.
Yeah.
Let's match it up right away.
So we're not done yet? This is quite a process.
Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right?
I guess she's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
When you're right.
You're
You're
right. Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth. And point out the person who you think left these prints.
Is it gonna show us all 10 fingerprints?
How am I
For each
supposed to know
person?
who it was? What, is there 10 people?
No, like 10 fingers.
No, I think just one.
Yeah, I think they're gonna like line up to which the finger that you have access to.
Yeah. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So, whose fingerprints would we most likely find on this evidence locker?
I think I heard whose this was earlier in the case. Who was it though?
Yeah.
Meekins.
Compare.
You know, Meekins is also likely.
That is true.
Match found.
The bloody
Aw.
handprint belongs to Gumshoe?
No. The other
No,
one.
no,
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 No fingerprint. No, all right. Okay, that's
Yeah.
sorry.
Aw.
Oh God.
We found a match.
Aha!
We found a match for Gumshoe.
Yeah.
Aw.
Himself.
Oh.
Same brain cell.
So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? You gave me this so what look.
Because so
Well,
what?
I guess that's probably because I was thinking so
Still
what?
Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit and sometimes you miss. You just gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright.
Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. Where was
This
that?
is the one I don't remember.
Where was it?
I do. I know exactly where it is. You want me to type?
Upside the cheek of one of the victims.
No, in this room.
Detective Goodman's evidence locker. It's empty.
Except for
Only
that
detective-
handprint inside.
Only Detective Goodman himself can open this locker.
So the person who took out this knife had to have been Detective Goodman.
But why was it wrapped in the scarf muffler and stuck inside the car muffler?
Oh, you know.
That yellow crime scene tape. You know, yesterday was my first time seeing that. It was always my dream to push through the crowd and just step over the tape. It's a little daunting to encounter it again so soon.
I think maybe you're overreacting a little. You want a hand?
There's blue and yellow paint here. This is all I need to paint a portrait of you, Mr. Wright.
Aw, I am wearing a red necktie, you know?
I have black hair.
A red muffler.
I wear blue though, so she's got that.
It's the yellow that concerns me.
The badge.
Oh yeah, true.
A pile of junk lies battered, worn, and forsaken.
You can't say that. It's important evidence.
It is. Aren't you being a little dramatic? Looks like a fishing pole and a metal detector. Not sure what this one is.
They cast a withering gaze in our direction that just screams, "Dust me!"
Can't junk just be plain old junk?
No!
Very well.
Is it you?
This is where we got a luminol fluid reaction, right?
Oh yeah.
Right, there was a handprint here.
Yeah.
I may have been looking away when we did that.
Ah. Okay, wanna try using this?
There go her eyes, sparkling again. Okay, let's check for prints.
That's the spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first.
Hmm? What?
The area with the blood was wiped away, right?
We only ended up finding it using chemical means.
Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too.
No, right. So that means no prints.
Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high?
Don't ask me.
Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away.
Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand. Okay. So, you're saying that we should be looking for... Oh?
So
man's got his first idea.
But yeah, because the blood there was blood on some of the fingers, but not all of them. So if they only wiped away the spot where the blood was, then maybe we might have something here. Hey.
Ah!
Uh-huh.
Why are we testing it again? We found it.
Well, because they didn't talk.
We
about
didn't
it.
fully
Now it's
get
gone.
it.
Yeah,
Ah, of course.
Now we did.
that looks turned. Oh, I see.
It's like
I
the
see
same
what's
thing,
going
but sideways.
on. So whose fingerprint do you think it is then?
I wonder.
Jake Marshall.
That looks about right.
That looks pretty good.
Neat. Hey, these fingerprints,
Whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know?
It's your sisters.
it's Officer Marshall.
Huh? Officer Jake Marshall.
Got him.
Found bloody handprint.
That's gotta be just a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime.
Emma. This is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's footprints. The luminol reaction. The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place.
Oh. Oh!
So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped blood stain.
Well, probably because he accidentally stabbed himself. He can't do
Whoa.
that and never stab himself.
Oh,
Well,
little
I want
doggy.
to hear about that then.
But why would Officer Marshall?
It looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence.
I don't believe it.
Dun dun dun. To be
To be
continued.
continued.
We didn't get stabbed once that entire bit. Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
But now it's time for trial.
Dude, trial
Are you
time.
ready?
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
I'm not.
We're gonna
Why
see
not?
that. We're gonna see that video today.
Oh, that's why I'm not.
Oh no.
What video?
Don't
worry.
Should I be
worry.
worried? I'm
No.
worried.
Maybe a little.
I'm gonna be worried.
There's no-
So, what do you think, Mr. Wright?
I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all. Oh, Lana.
The victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time.
Oh, she
And a
can't.
different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes.
Lana!
Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed.
I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning.
We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though.
So, how'd it go?
I'm guilty.
It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. They're even eating snacks in the middle of the courthouse.
Bottle of water.
Interesting snack.
Lana.
I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain.
Without consulting us?
Yes.
Plea bargain? What do you mean by that?
That I'm gonna hit every table as they go by. We agreed that if I hold them or told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishments. That's what I mean, Emma.
But, Lana, don't tell me you.
Much to my regrets, I am as much in the dark about things as they are.
Miss Sky. Hmm? We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall.
What kind of trace evidence?
It's better if you don't know.
Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you?
In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall?
We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky?
Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright.
I will. I'm gonna.
Good.
Thanks for your support, I guess.
You're welcome.
So much love in this room.
I'm glad we had this talk.
She's so stiff.
Mm.
Alright.
Oh, shoot.
Who's judgy boy today?
Well, I think we're gonna hit...
Oh, it's... Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yes. that makes
Yeah,
sense.
knowing who the witness is.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is...
I'm afraid you'll have to clarify.
It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim,
We went over this yesterday.
Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time.
But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared.
Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Wow. This is one messed up trial.
One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today, I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself.
Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things. Even though he doesn't know what's going on himself.
And that's supposed to be an admirable trait?
Yes.
Yes.
See, when I have no idea what's going on, I let people know.
Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand.
For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department.
The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer?
The very same.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Things are getting wild from the get-go.
So,
Hey, Meekins.
so sweet, so kind. Will the witness please state his name and
I
occupation?
heard that.
Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir.
Mike Meekins.
My occupation is that would be murderer, sir.
You dumbass. Yes,
so
I
you're
am a
telling-
professional murderer, sir.
So you're telling us that you're a professional killer?
Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You gotta believe me, sir.
Actually, what we'd like to hear from you
Sir,
is...
what I'm telling you is important of the younger generation, sir.
Oh god.
A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend.
Please, Miss Edgeworth, sir. Help me, sir.
Officer Meekins,
Yes, sir.
give us your report of the crime. Consider that in order.
Yes, sir. As you wish. After all, I am part of the generation that must be told what to do, sir.
Lord.
You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm.
Is that sarcasm?
I don't know.
Crime report, sir.
Although it's not my usual duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, and then I did it. After that, I passed out until another smacked me again.
Again?
Oh wait.
So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you?
Do you want to you? Daddy, Red Man.
That's the Meekins family motto, sir.
I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness.
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
I'll not ask how. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
What I need here is more info to work with.
Crime
Yes.
report, sir.
Alright. Why were you assigned to the guard the evidence room?
Hold it! Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Yikes! Now there's a scary thought.
Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir.
The Blue Badger?
Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by Chief of Detectives, sir.
Oh.
He haunts my nightmares, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process.
This is so soothing.
I don't know if soothing is the right word.
This is what I want to watch as I fall asleep.
Welcome to Friday Night at Freddy's. We're gonna have to
He's like one of those fan Animal Crossing horror characters you see.
That was my sole mission for the day, sir.
The only one?
I can't tell what grip he's using on that baton, and it's disturbing.
Is it underhand? Is it overhand? But then his
Right?
arm turns over.
We'll never know.
I see. Sounds like a very important mission.
After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room.
Tell us,
Reggie?
what did you see when you got there?
That!
Hold it. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I right?
Precisely, sir! I have one right around my neck!
So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right?
This is the one right here!
Could you please read us the number?
Yes, sir! 4989-596! That's my number, sir!
I see. Huh? But the number 4989596 is shown as being used twice!
Oh! Please explain, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger into the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything had settled down.
In only 25 minutes?
Sure.
I see. So it was during that second time when...
After 26
Yes, sir.
minutes.
That was when I spotted the man on the security screen.
Suddenly attacked.
All
Also
that-
restraining.
None of that. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir. A knife.
A Kanife?
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
That's when I reacted, sir! I blasted my cannon!
No!
I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him!
I don't
That's how I
imagine
got
that.
this gash on my hand!
Maybe if you just kept your cool, well, your hand wouldn't be.
When I saw the blood dripping down my arm, I panicked! I grabbed the man by his collar,
And killed him.
and I said, "You ruffian! You cut my flesh!"
Oh, that. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look like the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir!
Oh my god.
Meekins.
The man like that is gone for just an instant, so I snatched the knife from him!
You took his knife?
Yeah! I was all like, I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver! I made sure to close my eyes like a man!
Oh my
see.
god.
He must have been desperate.
Oh, everything about this man.
The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then the next thing I knew,
Wait, so Meekins was the
of
one who
his
bled
blood.
all over the crime scene. So it was his blood that was all over the place.
Oops.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that tells us some things.
Punch me right in my face, sir!
Oh, that. About what time did you regain consciousness?
no offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious!
Can
Oh.
we ask the guy who woke you up?
Right.
Oh, yeah, there we go. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
Hit me right in the head, too! Same spot!
I woke up crying tears of pain!
My modeling career.
That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is.
Hmm.
Wait, I came around, though. I made sure to finish my mission, sir!
Your mission?
Yes, sir! The Blue Badger, sir! I returned it to the entrance before things got out of hand! Like my hand!
Well, we can all rest easy now.
Thank God.
Good.
Thank God
I
someone
believe we
was
now
looking
have a
for the blue goddamn badger.
I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim?
He's got a point.
Does he? Yes, Officer Meekins.
Oh, well, with regard to that, sir, take a look at this! It was sent to my jail cell!
There it is.
Chief Grant discovered it, delivered it to me just this morning, sir!
What? The chief of police gave evidence to the suspect.
Don't worry about it.
And it's purple!
It's fine.
The chief?
Delivered it?
What is that? A videotape?
Yes, sir! That's absolutely right, sir! A videotape, sir!
Some kind of futuristic 8-track?
It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room!
Objection! What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape and was told it had been mistakenly erased.
That's quite a mistake.
I just know what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever.
Well then, let's have a look at this beautiful video.
Alright.
Show us the video for you murdering the victim.
I remember
Okay.
this frustrating me, but I don't remember what was on it.
Don't worry.
Well, we're
Yeah, I don't-
about to find out.
See, I don't remember any of the details from this case, just emotions.
Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me.
A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into?
Oh,
Rated
boy.
M, possibly. Has music.
What is this, FNAF?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my god.
I hate this.
Oh, oh, si- oh.
I'd love if like the
You're-
baton was the knife.
Oh,
I love that
Oh
it's
my
broken and had to hover in that one spot for a little while.
and here he
Goodbye,
comes.
Mickey.
Here's the boy. This is at about 5:14, 5:15. What the? Oh my god!
It's so helpful.
It turns back and Meekins just dead. Oh my god!
Dead.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it.
Dead. I like that the guy evaporated too.
Yep,
Yeah.
he's completely gone.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
You thought it was gonna be a jumpscare, didn't you, Jay?
Oh my god. I don't know if you could hear that.
Yes.
This right here.
This face.
Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing.
What the shit was
How
that?
the
Turn
fuck?
too fast.
How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us?
What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that's the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir.
Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Mine now.
More evidence!
Mine now.
Yes, well... Anyways... Now, what happens if you check the evidence?
You can watch it again, I think, if you want. Pretty sure you can watch it anytime you like. Anytime you like.
Oh, it doesn't have the music. Can I not fast forward? Da, da,
Da, da, da.
Yeah.
Okay, there's
It's
one thing I
missing the
want
most
to check.
important part of my enjoyment of this video.
Yeah.
Okay, so the cloth
that?
was not there.
Ah.
What
It's
clause?
not in that lock. On the far left locker. Okay, so the glove
There.
falls out.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I notice.
Oh, the
here we go.
music's gone.
The far left
Yeah.
locker. The cloth is not hanging out
Yeah.
of the locker as it was.
So does this imply that the Blue Badger emits his own theme song?
Yes.
Frightening.
Or maybe Gumshoe is like off in the corner with like a Casio keyboard.
He's doing this on purpose.
And Meekins stop.
He's like sitting next to the stenographer.
One more
yeah.
time now.
Ah, there it is. Yeah, you're right.
Oh
All
yeah.
right, so we don't see the person. Oh, does it loop? I think it loops.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it just
just
iterated
Yeah, it
loops.
loops.
Yeah,
So, yeah, we
because I
didn't-
saw in the loop it disappeared.
Okay, so yeah, we didn't see the guy in the coat exit, so he might have like hid behind the badger. Like if he went behind the
Something,
badger,
maybe.
and the timing, because like he might have like ducked behind it.
I'm trying not to give hints.
Lunar, I think
I'm
that's
shutting my
it.
face. I'm shutting my face.
I just want to say this one more time. We're probably gonna have to watch it a whole bunch.
Yeah.
at this court,
Yeah.
but I just
what
want
I'm
to get
curious about what's happening here.
suck as many
Yeah.
as many fact juices out of this video as we can right now.
When are we going to dust the blue badger?
At this point, he might be behind the badger right now,
Oh. Well, okay.
and then he's.
Oh, and then he leaves here. And he's gone.
and now he's gone.
How did he walk around the camera?
So
That's
he
how I did
touched.
it, behind the
He
badger.
touched that. He touched that locker to, and that's where the cloth is different. Okay.
This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone.
Can't see his face the entire thing. That's incredible. Like, I get that it's fiction.
And
Oh,
the
sorry.
evidence room did some kind of activity.
That was the game it interrupted for me.
yeah,
Your
yeah,
Honor,
I know.
instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir. As you were, sir.
Isn't that technically like that video evidence isn't like foolproof? So yeah, it wouldn't be admissible as evidence, or yeah.
I mean, there is definitely information in that video that hasn't been covered.
Yeah,
yet.
you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
But it's not relevant to the case yet until we bring up the fingerprints.
His face can't be clearly seen in the video. But there's no questioning that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprints to do so, so... The locker he opened was unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir! It's fine!
So, it must be him! No one else could have unlocked it!
You'd think the PD could afford non-shitty security cameras?
No, everyone has to have shitty security.
It's not
cameras.
a matter of being able to afford them. I think it's a desire to get non-shitty cameras. Oh,
What
sorry.
about the fingerprints? But I
Each-
mean, it's required by law to have shitty cameras.
Ain't that the truth? Each detective had been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have had to been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
I don't know where this cross-examination will lead. But everything begins with the contradictions. That's where I have to start.
So there's only one thing I'm like kind of confused about with this whole thing.
Huh.
They record how many people go in and when they go in, but why not when they exit?
That's a good
You-
question,
Well,
I
they
guess.
need to scan their card to unlock the door and enter, but maybe they don't need to do that to exit. Maybe they just need to, like, the door is unlocked from the inside. It's
I'm
only
sure
locked from
it's-
the outside.
I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
still
that
think
makes
that there
sense.
would have been
They
some,
should
like-
record that info.
Yeah.
It is important.
Yeah, they definitely should record when people leave because I feel like that would be important information in some cases, but they don't.
Because,
so
I mean, you could just open it from the inside. If someone else goes in while you go out.
Yeah.
Thank
so like
you, Paul.
even if it records, oh, the door was opened at this time with no card was scanned. I don't know. Anyway,
Hold it.
hold it.
Hold it. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with the knife?
Sir, you must label people as something with that. I don't believe it would be
Seen
classified
or-
as the latter.
Seen or not seen? So he's saying he did not see the face.
That's it.
The latter, but you were standing right in front of him, were you not?
More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you?
Oh, yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking to them, you see. That's why you're over there, and I'm looking over here.
Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer.
So, I'm sure it was him! I'll bet my badge on it!
I'd bet the defense attorney's badge on it.
Hey, hold it. But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face.
Well, I suppose you might say that.
I'm saying that. I'm asking if you're saying that.
That is, if you must label people as being seen or not seen it, you know.
See ya.
Since his face can't be identified with the video, only you can verify it.
I had to label your stares as disturbing or...
Mr. Meekins!
Meekins!
Close enough.
Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify.
Yes, sir.
You claim the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him.
I mean, he opened the locker, which required you to give his fingerprint to do so, so whoa!
Oh, that... About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past, don't ask me why.
Why is that?
Why?
It's because testing security measures, you know, very routine, very
Yeah.
above board.
They only respond to written fingerprints, sir. That's all we got.
I wonder
No
what
master
kind of,
key.
I wonder what kind of methods he's trying.
Aren't
My-
fingerprint scanners like notoriously easy to fool?
I don't know.
If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to.
I feel like there have been a lot of studies. Like, just fingerprint evidence in general has been tested to be very unreliable.
Taking my points out, and this too.
Locker, you opened it. It was good. It was so good.
It's good man.
that-
My good man.
How do you know that information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir.
What?
People in the know.
Yes. The workers in the apartment cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic trouble, sir.
No, that's enough. That's enough. For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source.
What do you mean by that?
Oh yeah, Rockman brought up the Mythbusters episode about fingerprint locks. And that was from like around the same, well I guess probably a little earlier because this was for the DS version, but still.
Yeah. This is also the future! The future of 2018!
You know, where they still use VHS tapes.
Don't worry about it.
And flip
So the
phones.
So the Wicker Man opened the locker with his own fingerprints.
Say that word again?
Wicker Man?
Don't worry about it.
Wicker Man.
I'm gonna worry about it.
So, it's
Hold
not
it.
my fault. Oh, okay.
It's your fault. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face.
Sir! If I may say something, sir?
Okay, I have to ask this because somebody, like Gomez brought up the bees. Have any of you seen the original Wicker Man?
No.
No.
It's so much better. Like, I mean, it's not hard to be better, but it's actually really good. It has Christopher Lee in it.
Oh.
Oh.
And it's a musical.
Please do. After all, you are the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock, so... And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir!
My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie.
That is. Unless the defense can find a problem with it.
That sounds like a challenge.
Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again.
So, we need to either prove that anybody could have that more than one person could have opened Goodman's locker,
Anyone
or
could have entered his locker.
or that the person who opened it could have opened a different locker as well. Which I think
How you
we could
doing,
do.
Jay?
Wait. Hold up. Calculating. If we prove that this was not Goodman, then that means Emma is more likely to be guilty. Because if this is not
Lana.
if this is
Lana.
Lana. Because if this is not Goodman,
worry
that means
about
Goodman wasn't at the police department, which means that Goodman was at,
That's
Are
right.
you
at the
telling
prosecutor's
me-
office.
Are you
So,
telling
yeah.
me that you would have Meekins take the blame?
How dare you?
Then we'll get him off in the next trial.
Is that a bus I hear?
No. We'll get Lana off in this case, and then when Meekins gets
How
tried,
dare
we'll defend
you.
him
No.
and go deeper into the evidence, and they can't retry Lana because of double jeopardy.
Can't believe you've done this.
Yeah.
Can't believe you'd let poor Meekins.
Now
no
you're
problem with
thinking.
security vote.
Now we're thinking like a lawyer.
It's time to think like a lawyer.
There's a
There's a
so many-
problem.
there's so many problems.
There are many problems.
Regarding the video contained on this tape,
Gomez, don't be gross.
there's one thing in particular that seems rather strange. It's the whole thing, actually.
Strange?
This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman.
So, like, if I'm right about the whole, if this isn't Goodman, then that is bad for us, then Edgeworth is clearly leading us into a trap, right?
Oh, don't worry about it.
Why would he
never
want to?
He'd never do that to you.
Okay.
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Gets down
But
on
I
one
didn't
knee.
even say anything.
With the Honorable Judge as my witness,
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth?
I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video.
He would want me to point it out. Leave.
No reason.
Nope.
Very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence.
Oh, Judge, you've made me a very happy man by accepting my proposal.
Oh my god.
I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of.
I have to point out a problem in the video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that.
You can do it, Mr. Wright.
Dust it for Prince.
It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't pay it too many times. I can't stand watching the video.
How did this guy ever become a police officer?
Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates...
Everybody, it's good to see you.
Oh, it doesn't
You
mess with the
wanna hang out with your
music.
pal?
Oh, I'm so disappointed. Rewinding and fast
Damn.
forwarding doesn't affect the music.
Uh,
Capcom?
Update this game and fix it.
Update
Fix
this
it.
game and fix it.
This game is literally unplayable now.
Okay, so it's either the glove. Oh, I can go frame by frame.
What? Oh, what is the backstory of the glove? Did we find it at the other crime scene?
It was found at the crime scene. It was hanging on the police tape.
Excuse me, sir. Ah, knife!
indeed.
He stabbed me with the knife.
He'll do that.
Or this.
I think it's that right there.
Yeah, why? There's no reason for that to be there.
Yeah, it wasn't there earlier, and it is there
like,
now. And
if we
you
say
can
it's-
only open one.
Because if we put on the glove, like I may be remembering stuff from when I played this years ago, but I think the glove may have been used to like block off whatever thing was used to lock the door. But if we point that out, people say it's just a glove that was in there and it fell out when he opened it. So whatever. So I think this is more...
he was able to open the door because the glove was keeping the lock from latching, so it didn't matter who opened it.
Right, that's what I'm thinking, but like that's conjecture.
I think
Basically.
your
Yes,
metagame-
yes.
I think your
But-
metagaming might be leading you to do something a little early.
Yeah. But this, at least it's like, oh, this thing wasn't here and now it is, which means
Not
the door
yet.
had to have been opened and nobody else entered this room during
I have
this time.
two theories with this. Either that locker was opened while this camera was pointed away from it for that short amount of time, which means this one person was able to open 2 lockers, or
Yeah.
this footage has been tampered with. And we're
By the
actually seeing
chief of
something that happened
police? Would they-
later.
Would they
Got that
go
from
there?
Chief Gant. Chief Gant would never.
So I'm rewinding.
Yeah.
So this is right after. Hang on. Gonna keep rewinding.
Hello, everybody. Do you
So
like
there.
my eyeballs?
No thing.
Yeah.
This is
It's
during
not
the
there.
fight. This is during the fight.
Okay.
This is okay. The Meekins is down. Now it's here, which means during that time. Do I have to go all the way through it again? Shit.
Dang it.
Wait, the light. Hold up. The light was already on.
Hmm?
The
Oh!
The glove was a fuck!
the door is closed, and but the light that shows it's open is on. This has got to
I
be
think
it.
you should press on that. then.
This has got to be it.
So too. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins.
Sir? Do you mean me, sir?
No, the
No.
other Officer Meekins.
Your
God.
brother, Officer Meekins.
Damn it, Gomez. That's so good. If the light is lit, you must acquit. God damn it.
As I understand, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match,
Phoenix pulls out the Chewbacca defense.
No.
the light turns on and the lock is released.
According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir!
I like how the Blue Badger music is still playing.
If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Let's go again, shall we?
Look, good for Gumshoe to take on a new hobby.
Phoenix having way too much fun in the background.
Remix.
I will stab you in the heart while you sleep. And
When the
you
victim
wake
reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier.
stab you in the heart.
Video game, you serious?
Okay.
You can't
Yes, let's
even
rewind
tell
through this
which
footage
way
very
I
slowly.
move.
Here, notice the light?
What's this? It's already lit. Well, time to quit.
Yep.
Reason-
Precisely my point, Your Honor.
Reason number 40, whatever, why I want Phoenix and Smash. Blue Badger me costume.
Ah,
The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle.
Order! Order! What is the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime.
Oh, hi, Nada. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know. It must have been. It must have broken down.
We need to
Of
oil
course. I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh well. It just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation?
it. Or should your mouth stay shut?
Me, Your Honor?
Yes. Why was the locker locked?
Me, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator?
Deflection.
Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system sensor?
There's no
Raspberry.
evidence of that.
Something jammed the sensor? Say, there is something else that seems out of place in this video. Let's go back in.
Marshall spreading jam on the sensors.
Let's go back in.
What
Well,
kind
then-
of jam do you think?
Raspberry. Only Marshall would dare give me the raspberry.
Yeah, I thought so too. There's gotta be another clue somewhere in this footage.
Where could it possibly be?
Very well. Let's inspect the video once more.
I like it. I appreciate everyone in the chat getting the joke I was making. The reference.
The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please point out what.
Fine.
As you know.
Still a handprint on Badger's face.
Oh, we never dusted that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which one?
Boom.
On his face?
One on his face. See?
Yeah.
On his
There it
face.
is. There's the raspberry jam.
There it is. It's much more obviously a glove in this version.
Yeah.
yeah.
Take that! Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier.
Do. Oh no.
Slowly, slowly, gently.
And there.
Yep. Ah. Judge?
Something white fell off the locker.
But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out of them when doors are open. I often fall out and roll great distances.
Objection! We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with.
Hold on, I want to point out, Meekins, are you okay?
No.
No.
No, he's not.
The
He and
Why
his
did-
gumshoe are birds of a feather.
Why did you leap out of a run or driving car, Meekins?
What?
He often rolls for several feet when he opens the car door, was what he was saying, but before Phoenix cut him off.
Oh, I see. The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted?
Gross. Disgusting. Oh my god.
Let's watch
many
this
times-
footage again.
Get on with it!
This is probably the last time we'll see this, probably.
I
Yep.
love you.
Yeah.
Yep,
What
probably.
about when we talk about the other thing with the cloth? and the-
Don't worry about such
Ow.
things. This white
Ow.
thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor.
Oh, I understand now. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get under my control vehicle, sir. I'm bad at cars. Instead of no clean up.
I feel like I should revoke your driving license. But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Something like rubber? Yes,
Or
an
plastic.
insulator. But at the crime scene, it was Luffy.
There just might have been something that fits the description.
My dad calls me an insulator. Oh, but sir, by insulator you don't mean
What was that joke you just made? I think I've
Insolent.
finally got this figured out.
Like rubber, or plastic, or wood, or purified water.
Yes. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that got stuck in the locker door?
Well, Your Honor.
I guess. Nice, Rockman. I guess this solution will fit like a glove.
Got him.
If the
But
glove
if
fits.
it doesn't fit, it smells like shit.
If must acquit. God damn it. God damn it.
Take
Never-
that.
Never mind.
I found this near the locker. It was a thin rubber glove.
I'm not a lawyer.
But we can be sure that was in the victim's locker.
It has a tag that says SL9 incident.
Well,
Oh.
screw me.
Exclamation point.
The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker.
Anyone
this
could have
not-
opened my locker.
It's true. Is this not so, Officer Meekins?
Sir, it would appear so, sir.
Order! 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 So, are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Ashworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility, and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. Prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. Okay, so he's saying that even though anybody could have opened it, we don't have any evidence that somebody besides Goodman did.
Okay, there are like
Which-
7 million people who aren't Goodman, and there's one person who is Goodman. So by probability,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think
In-
that's the case.
in this universe, the benefit of the doubt is always given to the prosecution, which is...
That's right.
What?
Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir? Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir.
Me neither, sir.
Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is this a joke?
No.
Very well, begin your testimony.
Tell me more about this mystery man.
What you meant to?
There was one other thing that proved this man was Detective Goodman, sir. And to enter the evidence room, one must have an ID card.
And nobody else except for Goodman could have ever used his ID card.
It
Yep.
also has fingerprints. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card.
An ID card record. I see.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor.
Oh,
Did you take that from? Did you take that from a pocket, Edgeworth?
That's mine. That's
You,
mine.
you sneaky little fellow, you.
Hmm.
The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim.
Just before the crime, hmm? Yeah, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual.
He's dead in the car.
No, not that. Several hundred cases should have been due to transferal. Why were there so few people using this room?
Oh my God, Judge, you're right.
That's what's weird.
I mean, he's got a good point for once,
Does he?
which is
Yeah.
unusual for him. This
But,
particular
here's-
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases.
Special cases?
extremely violent cases involving police staff.
And murder.
Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end.
Me too, although it doesn't make that much of a difference.
Okay, so I'm guessing they have many, many different, like, evidence rooms. Or maybe, like, they have a few big ones and that just the one tiny one is for special cases.
Yeah.
I'm guessing for, like, they need to, like, take special care to keep that one secure. Which, alright, sure. There were only a few cases up before transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon.
Right. I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination.
Wait.
Mr. Man 2.
The fishing pole and the metal detector were part of... Which case?
Worry about Karma,
The last
technically.
case. Yeah.
Okay, so the one that included
Maybe-
DL6.
Maybe these are all for ones that involve already, like, police officers that, or something?
Oh yeah,
or, like,
because
people of the
yeah.
law?
Yeah, because that one, it didn't directly involve police, but it did involve, like, prosecutors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it involved, like, Edgeworth and Von Karma and Gregory Edgeworth and all of them. Oh, and technically a former bailiff, I guess. Which is kind of like a cop. Maybe Gumshoe just stashed them there. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Never mind. I'm overthinking.
Oh,
it.
that. So unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you?
I'm trying to apply logic to a courtroom procedural game.
Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give it the V for victory sign, sir.
You have two hands.
No, I don't.
Couldn't he just use his right hand for that?
Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second.
Let's use her ID card.
Oh, that. Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards?
Objection. Must they use their own ID card?
Yes, sir. This card right next to my cuff. Yes. I kept it here so I wouldn't ever forget it.
But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that?
Yep, see? See?
Maybe I shouldn't really remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time, it's my ID card that gets stuck.
Meekins.
Meekins.
Instead of the door closing, my tie kills me.
Maybe I should just leave this one alone.
At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this.
Please proceed with your testimony.
No!
Oh, that. Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to.
Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman.
What's the matter?
According to this... Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here!
Oh my god!
So it is, Your Honor.
Oh, wait. Not that prosecutor. Yeah.
Hey, he must be behind this. He's being a prosecutor. He should hide evidence.
Mommy, is that man in blue? I didn't read the rest.
You got the wrong color, kid.
Is that man in blue or Mordora?
Is that man a moidable?
It would seem that the inquiry committee will want to speak to with you again today.
I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination.
Poor Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him.
You'd think.
Oh, that. Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you.
Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID, sir.
Don't you think that's odd?
Oh yeah, he told me I'd get the point.
Oh, I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Maybe he just panicked.
Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out.
Mr. Wright, what do you think?
I think court record.
So, where'd you find your ID card? Also that.
Date. I lost item report. Item lost. It doesn't say the item lost. It was a 5-9. He forgot his own. He forgot his own ID number because he didn't have his card on him. And he doesn't have it memorized. It's like, oh, I can't remember my thing. Shoot. I guess I won't fill this out all the way then. Okay.
I'm confused.
What?
The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this.
It's a trap!
You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show him what we got.
Yes, Meekins?
Let's get it
Okay,
over with.
So, one must use the... It might be this one. I'm gonna check the other statements. It's record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. So either
That's
2
gotta
or
be it.
4.
I think it's this.
Okay.
I think it's this, yeah.
Because at 2 it says they must use their card, but I could object saying they don't. They could use somebody else's card.
But
Well,
that doesn't
the-
mean that
the-
he did.
Yeah, this is saying the same thing but more clearly. So I'll
Yeah.
percent to this one. If only I could skip pages more quickly.
Can't you?
I don't think so.
Objection! Wait 1 moment, Officer Meekins.
I'm not good at waiting, sir.
I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
That makes sense.
When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene.
I'm guessing we could have presented the ID itself.
The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office.
Probably.
Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
Lost item report. It's only half completed.
But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report.
Let me guess. You believe this something is to be his ID card, right?
I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card.
I'm surprised no one pointed out that the second number of the ID number is wrong, suggesting that he didn't have it memorized and didn't have a reference on hand.
I mean, speaking from experience, that's probably very likely to happen. Order! So now, what does this all mean?
Hey, sound off. How many of you can remember verbatim your credit card number and the 3 wacky numbers on the back?
I do. It's
Shut the hell up.
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought.
Please do not share your credit card information publicly. Don't do that.
The man, Officer Meekins,
unless we ask you to.
encountered
No!
in the evidence room. Do not listen to Saps.
On the back, Rockman. But no,
Do it.
no. Yeah, then the ones at the bottom are the expiration date.
was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card.
But don't.
Bob, 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 Bob.
Order, order, order! Does the prosecution have a response?
Our own lawyers are like staring at us, shaking their heads violently. Telling us to.
Yeah, we have one right here. It's Phoenix Wright.
Yeah.
Ah, shit, you're right.
There we go. I have only one thing to say to the defense. You activated my trap card. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright?
Yes, what's he up to?
That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder.
I guess that's right.
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only a moment ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. Pointing your fingy around.
This isn't going that well. No.
Well, well. It seems you've finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Explain yourself, Mr. Ashworth.
Do not listen to Yuno Nada in the chat. Don't believe his lies. The
If you
defense
do,
has,
you already failed his hint.
the defense
It's a
has
test.
already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy trustworthy witness observed the moment of the defendant used the murder weapon.
Hey, guy.
You done
Well,
messed
that
up,
sucks.
Phoenix.
I knew that testimony was way too chubby. Ugh. It was all a trap from the beginning.
The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana.
You gotta do something.
Well,
You
looks
gotta
like
do something, Mr. Wright.
What do
You gotta-
I do?
Gotta do something about it. Looks like I'm getting disbarred again.
How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess?
By saving
I thought loading would get you out of the mess.
and object.
Let's object. Objection! One moment, Your Honor.
What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven.
Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap.
Almost. What are you talking about?
This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder.
But it didn't positively prove anything else? Do we have to watch the whole thing again?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
you in your sleep and then you bleed out.
Oh, threatening.
Horrifying.
However, it cannot be said that this is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot.
ABDAB.
Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room.
Meekins' blood.
The defense demands further examination into the truth of this matter.
Mr. Edgeworth,
Yes, Your Honor.
if this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident.
This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand.
Mr. Wright, do you mean...
Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness.
Oh, whom do you have in mind?
Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth.
Chuck Norris.
The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room.
The prosecution requests to hear this person's name. No, he's Walker, comma, Texas Ranger. Before deciding whether to or not to comply.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have to testify. Who could it possibly be?
Detective Dick Gumshoe.
Oh,
No, the victim, Bruce Goodman.
get Polly on the stand.
The
actually
witness is
confused.
Parrot.
We talked about a certain Texas Ranger.
Thinks he's a cowboy.
He was very
Lana.
subtle about that hint, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, and like he was in charge of the security station, and his fingerprints, his bloodied fingerprints were found at the scene.
Makes
So
sense.
like he's clearly the fake Goodman. Like, and I'm sure we'll prove that that locker that his fingerprints were found on were his locker. All right. Oh, hi,
Take
baby
that, Officer Jake Marshall.
girl. Why him?
I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say.
The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We should need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. The court will take 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed.
Subpoenaed, yeah.
Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
We will, Your Honor.
Court is now in recess.
Whee!
Everyone grab lunch.
Who wants to play Foursquare with Gumshoe and the judge?
Oh, me.
That's nice.
And bolts over.
What about Meekins?
and Meekins. There we go. It's a full game right there.
I think Phoenix would join.
He would love to, but
But you're
Let's
busy.
do.
There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What do you mean?
I was reading the chat.
You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out.
I haven't figured anything out.
I work exclusively on hunches.
Lana, you're the one who knows everything.
You're Spider-Man.
Am I?
You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you.
I don't recall ever asking for his protection.
How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? don't you trust me?
No.
Oh, I'm not interrupting anything, pals. You know, I'm sure this is just one of those delightful conversations. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later, sir.
No.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
No.
I'm back.
You got a lot of noise, pal. Making a detective run all around while on duty, man. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
Sorry, detective.
Now you better be, pal. Hey, 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 hey. I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky.
That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked?
Brr, brr, brr. You mean this, right?
My apologies, detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making any requests. Or making my requests.
My name? Hi.
Hi.
Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who'd ask me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? You were all like, I need my new talk about crazy.
The SL9 incident.
But, Lana, that's...
I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I have brought them here.
Thank you.
Here, you might do well to read them.
I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case.
Miss Sky was a witness?
Joe
SL9
Dark.
incident files? Oh boy. Hi, Joe Dark.
Wait, Joe Dark, Joanna Dark, Joan Dark, Joan of Arc.
Joan Delarkey.
Jode Ark.
Not Joan of Arc. Oh. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders.
No.
How
Except the
do you
ones in the
know-
bowls! Ah!
Well, Joan of Arc in French would be Jean d'Arc.
John Dion.
Ah.
Oh, what? Now? Not about all your stuff, you just kind of ignores me. Come on now.
That's where Joanna Dark from Perfect Dark got her name. Was from Joan of Arc.
Oh.
Emma, but why? Why is your name in here?
What? My name's in there? I don't know, unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that...
That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings.
The Joe Dark... No. No, Lana. That's over with. No.
Emma,
He's
wait.
bad?
She ran away.
Am I gone now?
You knows what I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere that's not his by now. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. This is an all-star cast. Not to mention Lana and Emma. It's everybody.
Who was the defendant?
Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago, except Meekins. He doesn't get to be important.
I'm guessing the defendant was Joe Dark. Do you mean the defense attorney?
That's probably what it means, yeah. This can't just be a coincidence.
Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out.
What if we look under the defense and it's like Mia Fey,
Oh dang!
That's what I assumed.
Oh dang!
Roseburg.
I mean, it could be if it was a big, high-profile case, and he's a big
Yeah.
hotshot.
Apollo.
Robert Hammond.
He was dead.
Yeah.
Wait,
2 years
wait.
ago? 2 years ago?
Oh wait,
Yes,
no,
definitely 2 years
no,
ago.
wait, no, you're
No.
you're right. He
Yeah.
died like 6 months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Very true.
Wasn't it 3 months ago? December?
Sure.
Or 2 months ago?
Recently, yeah, because he was
It
the
It
victim.
wasn't
in
2
the-
years ago.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
he was
2 years
the-
ago, yep.
He was the victim in the last case. It was Gregory Edgeworth that died 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Gregory Edgeworth.
Whoa!
That's all the
Greg, my
defense.
boy.
That's all the defense attorneys I know of so far. I think.
He faced his own son in court. So check. I gotta check this. All right, closed. Perpetrator: Joe Dark. Crime: serial murder. Sentence: death.
Wow.
Victims: Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, and
They killed
Neil
Kirby.
Marshall.
Wait.
Wasn't Kirby named after some kind of lawyer man?
Yeah, yeah, he was
Christoph
named,
Gavin.
Yeah.
And then they
yeah.
killed him.
yeah, Kirby was named after a lawyer who defended Nintendo against Universal over rights to King Kong.
Yeah.
Head prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Witnesses Lana Sky, Emma Sky. Doesn't say who the defense attorney was. Except for investigator Damon Gant, Lana Sky. Head investigators Bruce Goodman, Jake Marshall, Angel Star. So I think the name Neil Marshall may come up.
Maybe.
But
It
it
doesn't say. I'm guessing that whoever the defense attorney was didn't matter. Because like if it was like serial murder, they probably had a lot of evidence. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if this. I don't know. They just said that this world has plea bargains.
Mm.
Who knows?
Time to get back to the trial.
The
Mr.
defense
Wright?
attorney. The defense attorney was the secret third Payne brother.
Oh wow!
Best
Oh
of
my
luck.
god.
I better take a good look at this file.
What's Payne's brother or relative named?
Gaspin.
Winston and Gaspin.
Winston and Gaspin.
Payne.
And then there's someone from the past with that
Howland.
Phoenix's great grandfather.
Right,
It was
right.
It was Howland Payne.
Howlin?
Yeah.
That's fun. Let's go again.
This time. The court will now reconvene over the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
Emma didn't come back.
Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime.
Hey, buddy. I'm sorry
delicious.
to both Jay and Lunar, who do not get voices in this section.
Well, it's
It
fine.
It's fine. Witness, please state
How
your
about them
name.
Yankees?
And somebody say Yankees. I hate
Wow.
the Yankees. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it.
Ooh.
Oh, I know. You're a patrolman.
As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling you. Whoa! Excuse me?
Jay?
Jay?
That was really loud.
That was
What?
really loud and
What?
oddly timed.
What was?
Oh
The
no.
sound effects.
What?
You had a
You
sound
must have
effect.
accidentally played a sound effect with your voice
Oh, I'm
changer.
sorry.
The dramatic sting from Young Frankenstein.
Oh, I thought it was dramatic.
I downloaded that earlier. No, I'm sorry.
It suddenly
Give me a sec.
plays.
I see that there are risks with this program. Okay.
Maybe mute it when Meekins is not around.
Oh, it's hotkeyed to D. Let me fix that.
Lord. Did anybody else hear? Gumshoe! Get off the soundboard! To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor.
Howling wind. I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before.
Hey, zingers. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers. According to the papers, partner.
What do you mean?
Desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up.
Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English.
Wait, in Old English? I mean, I can do middle or
No.
early modern, but Old English might be a bit tough for me. I haven't read Beowulf in a while. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They say I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time I went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man. So if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. So,
No,
you went to a bar while you were on the clock.
Sounds about right.
Oh my
Wasn't
god.
his whole place already filled with booze?
Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Worry about it.
Okay.
I
fair
can't
enough.
say I particularly care for your attitude.
Honestly, at this point, I'm concerned for him. Like, this has gone past negligence into, like, you need help. Jake, we care about you. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems?
I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those.
Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers?
Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those?
He's not being very helpful.
He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor?
This one seems like trouble.
The hell is a lock?
Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours.
Alright. Day of the crime.
Hold it! How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room?
Well, I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings.
You interred them?
Videos and nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. My
Can't
God.
you wait a week? Like a week?
Like a,
Wait a week.
right? Each time I'd erase a tape, felt like I was erasing a part of my life. Like, does he review them?
This guy has a
Like-
flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good.
Like, I'm guessing they don't have motion detectors. So does he, like,
So
fast forward through them?
So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room? Maybe it does have motion detectors. I don't know.
That's what I think we argued last time.
Oh, that... But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right?
Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
No desperado I know lets rules get in his way.
No desperados I know join the police force.
So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime,
Just between you and me, I didn't set a foot in the evidence room that day.
there was a rubber glove stuck to the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that?
Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks.
How does this guy avoid being fired?
Right? Alright.
I mean, he was fired from his last job.
That's true.
Well, he was demoted, which... typical.
Yeah. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct?
Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence.
And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism?
Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. Some kind of mechanical horse.
That's quite, incredible.
The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It is well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence.
Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too.
He has a car, so you're telling me it's like two horses next to each other, but it's also a carriage with no horses. You're losing me, partner.
It's closer to not having the horse and just having the carriage. It's like having
At
half the
this
carriage.
rate, it doesn't seem like this is relevant to the crime.
Well, how's it get pulled down the road?
Can
Well,
you tell
see-
us what you were doing when the crime took place?
Have you ever seen a lever and pulley system?
Phoenix
Oh.
Wright.
But is it one of them newfangled steam engines? So I don't know if I trust those things.
I give up, Your Honor.
Phoenix,
Valid.
today is Christmas.
I don't trust anything what moves that I can't look in the eye. If I remember right, I was at the Streetside Saloon. He went to a pub.
Oh, but what were you doing in a place like that?
I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlor's... oh shit. Vongola sepia pasta. That's the take I'm going with.
Sure.
Do you mean to tell us
He's a spaghetti western.
you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles?
Not all desperados eat tacos, partner.
That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson.
It has.
Nope.
That's strange. My accent really kicked in there. This is usually where Edgeworth says, "Did you not want a raise this year?" Hold it! Out of ammo, Officer Marshall.
That's right, partner. Or as you'd call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset.
Send me a car.
Oh, it's a metal horse.
Don't start, Phoenix. One thing seems clear, though. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room,
The nice man at the dealership clearly said it was a metal horse,
No!
and I trusted him.
the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything.
Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. It's established.
You're fired.
It's previously established in this case that he has never been to Texas, right? Or was I just making that as a joke?
I think
I
think we made that up, but I'm still willing to run with it.
No, I'm pretty sure he did say that he's only seen like
Oh yeah, he's only
Is that
seen like
true?
he's only
Something.
seen like
Is that true? Okay.
Texas in like
TV
pictures
shows or
commercials.
something.
Yeah.
Apparently, superiors don't. Okay. I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I better keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante.
All right, so his job was to watch the evidence room. He's supposed to check it 3 times a day, but he doesn't.
Don't worry about it.
Is protected by. This is probably what we got to get him on, because just showing that he did not know about the fingerprint system. He went to a. He was eating spaghetti allegedly. Check the receipts. Okay, asking if we have evidence. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this. What should we present?
Evidence.
well, yeah, clearly.
Do you have any reason to believe that Marshall was where he says he wasn't?
The fingerprints.
Yes.
But is it time to present that? Because you know how this series be.
I don't know about this statement, perhaps.
Oh, I guess.
In his testimony, he says he hasn't stepped foot in that room in weeks.
Does that seem right?
Okay, so this means he's supposed to actually go inside the evidence room, not just check the security cameras from his station.
Right, that's what he's supposed to do. But he says he doesn't.
Okay, because that wasn't really clear to me. I think
you
when
can
he
keep
said
going, though.
when he said this, I was thinking, oh, he's supposed to at least be in his station outside the evidence room, but he doesn't even do that. But if he's supposed to actually go inside the evidence room 3 times a day, then we can definitely get him on that. Because we can show. Because if he's saying he doesn't go in there, we can prove that he did.
Right, does he say that? Yeah.
Right? Remember, I was at a street side saloon at the time. He was saying he wasn't there when it went down. This
That seems about right.
present.
Well, there's also the part where he says, so unless you have ammo to prove that I didn't. Right? Isn't that his last statement?
Can you look at the other statements? Like, go further.
This is.
Yeah, right here, right here.
If you're out of ammo. Should I
This is
present
the
it
challenge.
this?
I think maybe that makes sense. Right?
Okay.
I
Yep,
believe in it.
I'm at full health, so whatever.
I
like I said-
believe in the power of
Yeah.
the drama.
Marshall's fingerprints found on a bloody handprint, and it had been wiped. Wait, so that means in the time the camera wasn't looking in that direction, he had time to go over to his locker, touch it with his hand, realize it was bloody, wipe it off, open the thing, and put the thing in and close it and leave.
Talented man.
God damn.
Objection!
Oh good, music stopped.
Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime.
And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner.
It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint.
Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is, make my rounds about once a month. God damn. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there.
Objection. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints are covered in blood.
Those boots.
Witness! What's the meaning of this?
Where do I get me a pair of those boots?
At the shoe store. Your bloodstained fingerprints were at the crime scene.
The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall?
It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders.
You're the one without.
I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints?
Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime.
Witness testimony.
Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know that the murderer was wearing gloves?
Why do you know that?
How do you know?
Why do you know?
That might be like
Press him on this.
that might be. I mean, he might have just known that. Like maybe someone told him. See,
Press him
that
on
had
it.
nothing to do with it. Actually, maybe he wouldn't know.
I don't think he would because
Because that,
he didn't find the gloved fingerprint.
yeah, because Meekins is the only person who saw the other guy in there, and he said nothing about gloves.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you technically would be able to tell
Can I
from
not fast
This-
forward anymore?
footage.
No.
No,
No,
only
you
when
can
you're
only do that
presenting.
when you're trying to point out
Oh
something,
my,
Yeah.
oh my god.
which is silly.
Which means I'm pausing either. That could
You
be
can't
glove,
quite
that
tell
could be
if
not
that's a
glove.
glove.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because it's in black and white.
Yeah, that looks like a glove.
And amazing 3D.
Okay, yeah, it seems that he's wearing gloves, and I guess you could argue that since he's in charge of the security videos, he may have seen that. Which
I would
is
just argue
which
bad
is-
graphics.
But that was a very pointed statement, and it seems like we're supposed to realize that he's not supposed to know about that. Unless Edgeworth told him during the briefing, but how would Edgeworth know he was wearing gloves?
Yeah.
Basically, the only way to know if he was wearing gloves is if you saw him, which Meekins did, but he didn't say anything about gloves.
Yeah.
You knew about the
until that
fingerprint.
point-
You knew about the other fingerprint, or like he's wearing gloves in the video, but no one has brought it up yet. So
So at this point, that's just conjecture. So.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
The witness explanation seems valid, something like that. Although there's room for doubt.
Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
I don't want fun. I want a prosecution on the correct victim. The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it.
Press the statement.
It's only natural. I think it has to be there.
Hold it. That's because you, how did you put it? Pay your respects once a month?
Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. Ooh, he said it.
What? What do you mean?
I mean what I said.
What do you...
That's
Okay.
That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. Okay, that is very important
I
to have
see.
in court. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker.
Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from the locker's programming.
I guess we could point out the cloth, but whatever.
Yeah.
He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. I know.
Go
I
now.
did say it was on his own. Hi, baby.
Hold it. So then, what about the bloody handprint?
Wasn't mine. It's no mystery.
Please explain.
My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened.
Oh, that... The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1.
On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1.
That-
Get one
no.
thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward with me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? I mean, again, if it's his
I ain't
locker,
got
then it
ya.
would make sense that.
I burned them off working in, like, acid baths and such. Unrelated?
Why, my fingerprints are as smooth as if I was constantly wearing rubber gloves. They're as different as night and day. Don't you think that night and day are different? What's wrong with you? Kind of like cereal and cereal. and cereal.
I like cereal!
Oh my god.
How about
And I
cereal?
like potatoes.
One's got to do with breakfast, while the other's a type of murder.
He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different.
Enough with the grammar lesson.
I don't see what homonyms have to do with this.
Fuck your homonyms. Fix your language.
Oh, that. How do you know that?
I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer.
That's
Oh yeah,
right.
that one hadn't been wiped, and it was... Okay.
It was found
Yeah.
in Detective Gumshoe's locker.
However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint.
Oh yeah, I think we tried that too.
So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprints.
That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner?
What if the bloodstains came from a different time?
The picture.
The seal of blood. In the desert, it's just food for the buzzards.
Ugh.
There's only one reality, and that's this.
Time to go through the tape again.
The security tape.
So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise.
Oh my god.
Gee, I wonder how we could possibly prove that.
Yeah.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall.
Too bad
Well-
it wasn't me in that video, right, partner?
Gee, I
press this
wonder
out.
how we could possibly
That-
prove that.
That's a new
Oh, that-
statement. That's a new
Oh,
statement.
now
What do you mean?
What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner?
Mm,
If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have.
objection.
why'd you keep pushing it?
But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots.
That sounds like a you problem.
Hey,
You're a me problem.
places you can't see, Your Honor.
I thought that's what you caught that line, but whatever.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, you
The
just said-
camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown.
You're just asking about blind spots.
If someone was familiar with that camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape.
We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
Yes, you do.
Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence that in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now.
I'ma show
Okay.
these bitches some evidence.
Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall.
Tread,
Ah!
tread carefully, Mr. Wright. We might wind up being the one making the mistake.
Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us the incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. We could never possibly know what this is. Let's go really fast.
Where the hell is this evidence?
Da, da, da.
I have no idea where this evidence might be.
Da, 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 da.
And then you're gonna
Meekins
die
is
out
dead,
there
dead,
on
dead,
the
dead.
floor.
Bam!
There it- Found it.
I really hope that you
Take that! Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall.
Oh my
Indeed.
god.
The days are short in Texas, but so are our tempers. Yes, the days are famously short in Texas, a place that's relatively close to the equator. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less?
Sure. Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video.
You
Good
can
job.
clearly be seen in this. All right, gotta hand it to you.
Well done.
Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner.
The key
Hey.
lies in a certain locker shown in the video.
Say
Oh,
it.
that was the judge. That looker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witness, I believe. I thought it was the Phoenix.
Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Wow, that's slow. Is Meekins, he's dead.
He died.
Rip, my dude.
110 through 7 written on the wall.
Oh, the white cloth! It's gone!
Fuck that cloth.
What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away.
Order, order! It would seem that the only...
Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man?
This guy isn't just playing dumb.
He is dumb.
He really doesn't know.
Really
Guys, he
is
doesn't
dumb.
know.
He's Scotty.
I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker.
Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker, now prove it.
Okay. First one. Yeah.
Okay.
Boom! Kaboom! Take that!
A fingerprint sensor?
Who's your daddy?
We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to.
What kind of crazy talk is this? Oh,
Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this.
the hell's a fingy?
In the case the locks aren't that obvious, they do that thing. There are even some people on the force who don't even know about the fingerprint locks. It's crazy.
So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less?
Jerky.
I only got one word for you, partner. Shit!
But I only got one word for you, partner. It's 8 words. Order, order, order! Witness, explain yourself!
If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard.
I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime.
Ole! Please answer the question.
Olé!
Ole!
What is he now, a bullfighter? That's all right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure out the rest from here.
We can?
Oh yeah. Have a look at these floor plans.
Not at the photograph?
There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
If that's so, then where was the witness?
It seems Mr. Wright has an answer.
That's right. The only possible conclusion.
Well then, let's hear it.
I'm so sorry.
Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
You can hear this probably, right?
No,
This is
Really good.
Meekins, right?
that's the killer.
killer. Which
would be
yeah,
Meekins.
that's Meekins. Yeah.
this is Meekins, and this is the alleged Goodman.
Yeah.
So
I guess. Yeah, there. Take that. Officer Marshall was standing right here.
But, Mr. Wright, that's where the victim was standing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I could hear. I said the line.
oh, okay.
I called it.
Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. He shook his head and said correct. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman.
But that's preposterous! Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure.
Objection. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted.
Flashback time. Jay combined two things.
Okay?
What? I cannot combine two things at the same time. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir.
Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond?
Oof.
Oh, it's so loud and scary and oh,
Don't,
so
just read the line.
No, it's very important that he does the filter.
Yeah.
Very important. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Wow, 2 heads in a row. You don't see that a lot.
Yeah. Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall?
You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence.
But it can't be used, right?
Circumstantial evidence.
circumstantial.
He's still denying it.
You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. Oh, that was it.
I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition.
I can't say, but I already said this.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as a victim?
Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that.
I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Take a sip.
This can't be happening. Slurp. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do?
I mean, like, he opened his locker. And no one else walked into the evidence room during that time. It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. Oh no, my lack of experience is exposed.
Oh, shut up.
I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics.
The basics.
Yeah.
For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me.
Or Phoenix, try thinking outside the box.
I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that that came about because he was in disguise.
Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place?
Wait, he was flying?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance that it might have been discovered later, as it has been.
which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker.
According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime.
Is the white cloth the costume?
That seems
maybe.
likely.
Oh.
Because I figured it was the cloth that he used to wipe off his handprint.
Yeah,
If
me
that's the
too.
case, if we go and open that locker, is there a bloody uniform in there?
Could be.
Hmm.
We can subpoena that. We can get a warrant for that.
Hmm.
Did you read the steps?
Yeah, I read that.
Okay.
Then, after the crime was committed, he opened up his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Okay, now they're spoon feeding it to us.
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot.
Oh yeah, and it got covered in Meekins' blood. So he would have needed to get rid of it.
Very true.
Yeah.
It's a white coat.
Very well.
No.
Let's take yet another look at the security
No!
tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker and put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness opened it. Okay.
I guess I gotta show, like, Meekins' blood on him. I'm pretty sure that's visible
Probably.
at some point.
Yeah.
Hey, Meekins.
Right?
I made
Oh.
it again.
No!
Hi, blood.
Shit!
Oh!
That was the wrong button!
Oops.
Well, what do you have to say to that?
Alright, partner. You really want to know the reason I had to open my locker?
Why?
So I could stuff you in there! Bang bang!
Oh my! Wow, that's threatening.
Ha-cha-cha-cha!
Huh?
I'm sure the world would be a better place with you sent off to the boneyard. Unfortunately, unsolved cases can't be stored in the evidence room.
Now I'm an unsolved case. Did he just call me a nerd? Like he's gonna stuff me in a locker?
Yes.
Something went wrong in that evidence room. That's why Marshall had to go. Okay, yeah. We
Okay.
go.
Oh my
Can't believe
god.
Marshall called me
Oh.
a nerd.
Oh my god. Let me keep going.
No.
I can press minus, right? No, that's... What?
Oh my
Red.
god.
Red.
Why is it called red?
I don't know.
Very well, do this thing. Wyckoff, please show us why the witness had to open this locker.
It's a black Pro controller.
Red.
Okay, he's opening the thing. Next one is the fight.
This is going to get
There's our
stuck
boy.
in my head.
After we see. Wait, stop. Okay, now play. Play gentle.
Catch up.
There.
It's the raspberry jam.
There it is. We found it. Take that.
Oh, bringing that back.
For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet.
Yet.
However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat.
You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker.
Not bad, partner.
Ah, ba, 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 ba.
Ba, 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 ba. Now then, Officer Marshall,
Oh boy.
are you ready to tell us the truth?
Looks
The
like I
whole
underestimated. And And nothing but the rootin' tootin' truth. Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago. If you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we wouldn't have to be here now, would we?
Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it.
All right. It seems the time has come. Marshall's confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
Sounds about right.
So, the supposed victim was really you?
But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand.
Oh,
My
no.
guess is... Martin?
Oh, sorry. Just it sounded like you said cut off his own hand. I was like, oh.
I almost did and caught myself. My guess is he's the donor.
It was way too much blood for such a small donation.
That's why he passed out. Okay, I guess we're cross-examining this.
Yeah. Hold it. When you say it, you mean
Do you even have to ask, partner?
the SL9 incident.
2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over.
But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room?
Yeah, I think he one of the victims in SL9 was named Marshall. I'm guessing a brother or relative of some
Something.
kind.
Hmm.
When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine.
But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it?
That day was my last chance. That's why Ooh, okay. Stole the ID.
Oh, that... Why'd you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman?
If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. Wait, if you're in charge of the security cameras, couldn't
You
you
could have just deleted the footage,
deleted the
yeah.
footage?
Don't worry about it. He's not a smart man with technology.
Fair enough.
And the detective's ID card. Maybe that would have cast more suspicion on it because he still was in charge of the evidence. And if he, for some reason, deleted said evidence when, you know,
Well, then
We
he
also-
would,
place.
instead
we
of
also-
being the culprit, he would have been incompetent, which is, I guess, better?
We also thought that he deleted it, but it turned out that Chief Gant somehow had it anyway.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was Gant who had it.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Maybe
What,
there's like a
what
goes to
techno
another
wizardry
server.
did Gant pull off to
Maybe
make
there's
that
another
happen?
server somewhere.
Maybe.
I stole that the morning of the incident.
So that really was why Goodman started filling out the lost item report.
I returned his ID card, left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot.
The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall.
So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner?
Hello, fireworks outside.
I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself.
But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall.
I wasn't expecting. Okay.
Yep. Oh, that... You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off?
Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time.
Officer Meekins. Certainly is a 1 in a million type of a person. Like all of us, honestly. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. Oh, good for Meekins!
When did Edgeworth get so much influence?
Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything.
I don't hate Marshall. By the way, what happened to your knife?
Oh, you mean this one? Oh, that's the...
I don't know what to say.
Bailiff?
So you knocked Officer Meekins out and...
Oh, that... So you did your research beforehand.
Why does this courtroom even have a bailiff? He's not going to do anything. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is raced every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there.
What was Officer Meekins doing during that time?
Bleeding out on the floor? What else? He was sleeping like a baby.
So what you're saying is, on that day...
Wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
Oh, that...
Alright.
But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place.
But are you blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So
I am
you
not
stole...
yet dead.
Thank you. So you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor.
Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence.
So Edgeworth went in at 4:40 for a reason. Has he said why he went in there?
I don't think so.
To us, he did. That was to grab the screwdriver and keep it.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Gant told him to grab that screwdriver. Then
Yeah.
Meekins went in to place the Blue Badger. And then Marshall went in with Goodman's card to steal evidence. And Meekins followed after Marshall and confronted him. So we got to know about this 7777777 at 4:20. Blaze it!
Nice.
Oh my god.
But someone went in there 20 minutes before Edgeworth
did.
got the screwdriver.
So the question is then, like, yeah, who? Is that Komeda?
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone else stole the evidence?
Yeah. So we know that Edgeworth or nobody went in. Nobody stole Edgeworth's card.
Yeah. Edgeworth told us he went in.
Yeah. So whoever
Officer
stole the
Marshall.
evidence and left the glove there had to have been that 7-7, etc. guy
Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing?
or girl. Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer.
He's right.
Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense.
Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary.
Not the salary
bad.
cuts are ever a valid solution.
Thank you, Phoenix. New. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with.
The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why?
No.
Hold it. But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room.
Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is that he deserved his sentence. Whoa, man. Easy there.
Serial killing. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it?
I don't intend to complain about how it turned out. But there's something that still bothers me. Something went down to that trial. Something no one will talk about.
What happened? What happened?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I'd better take another look at the files. So where's the part where he gets real passionate about SL9?
Probably
It's the last statement that they just added. Go knock them out. Murder in the evidence room. Can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? Yes, I do. Because just gotta check. what
This name
page.
shows up.
Page 2.
Objection! Very good. Officer Marshall, I think I understand.
But you're not really objecting, you're just saying that you agree because this is... Okay.
Consent.
I
Consent!
think... Consent! I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident.
Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner.
It's the quenchiest.
I was hoping you'd say that in Phoenix's voice.
Oh, sorry. It's
It'll-
the quenchiest.
It'll
I
quench
have
ya.
the SL9 incident file here.
Nothing's quenchier.
The name Marshall is mentioned in here.
Hmm.
In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall, are you related to this man?
Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got.
What? A prosecutor?
He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award.
Now I remember, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed, and the case fell into your hands.
What's his relation to you with the same surname?
He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. Oh, yeah, that's him down the corner. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Oh, yeah, he did it.
Oh dear. Yeah, he did it.
Oh
Who does
yeah.
he remind me of? Like a specific actor, but I'm not sure who. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed.
When I killed your brother.
He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records. Oh, Saps, did you see that?
No.
Oh, is it? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it. That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me.
Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence.
Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled.
Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department.
Chance? It's gotta be more than just that.
If no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one.
Which, in turn, means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Scott.
Objection! But wait, Victor, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Objection. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today.
But...
There's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me, this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Sky. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Starr is completely incontestable. Completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less.
Objection?
Objection.
Close enough.
It's
Not
not
a
a
word.
word.
Not a word.
I rest my case. Oh, he loves saying that.
Oh yeah. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department.
There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty.
Yeah, because you're a dumbass.
Now then, it's time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. I'm gonna smack the gavel.
Hold. Okay.
Fuck.
Oh boy, who's this?
Oh, it's her.
It's Emma.
Emma!
Your Honor, wait.
I missed you, Emma!
The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right?
Sure, why not?
Definitely. What do you mean, right?
Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian?
That's pretty good. Your Honor,
Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please.
But we were at such good timing with the end of the trial.
I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3.
Hey,
Oh,
that's pretty close,
hey,
actually.
Yeah.
That's exactly how much.
Thank you, Edgeworth. Edgeworth's on our clock.
Yeah.
I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dart killings.
Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky Sisters were on that file.
But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day? I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker?
But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
Yeah, I figured that was from before he took off the costume, and it was just we couldn't see it because of the blue badger.
Yeah. No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again.
Wow, she's fast.
Impressive.
So you ran for like half an hour both ways then?
No.
Oh,
You didn't find
Okay.
anything.
you caught a cab, huh?
Sorry. I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
Then why are you here?
Mm,
Why are you on the stand right now?
Because I'm stalling.
Emma,
Oh,
please.
gotcha.
Emma, is that all?
Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student.
And I'm just an attorney.
But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can find something wrong with them... Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you.
Me?
No pressure.
Oh boy.
I guess the concern is the amount of blood that was there.
Possibly.
Yeah. Time's up. Now then, Mr.
Hey,
Wright.
we still have 1 more minute.
Yeah.
You
With
can keep going. You can keep going till the break. It's fine. Don't worry.
With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
Yeah.
It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this?
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still... If you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Dead.
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing?
Yes.
Obviously.
I mean, like, obviously I'm gonna say I object, but like, I'm
Let's do
lost as to what it could be.
Objection!
Yeah, me too.
This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction.
You're bluffing.
No.
The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright.
Mm-mm.
Yours been staring pretty intently at those floor plans.
Mm-mm.
Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Yes. This is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing.
Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
The blue badger?
Yes,
Yeah.
something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark.
Wait. The blue badger, you say? Suggesting
Where was
that
he?
I mean, it's...
if the blue badger was right up against Gumshoe's locker, then the handprint had to have been made before Meekins put it there. But
Yeah.
if it was there, then how did Marshall not get seen by the camera when he was going? Did he like crawl on the
Underneath, he crawled. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
crawled under it and in front of it.
Okay, and he
Yeah,
said
they
that
argued that you could crawl.
yeah, he said that he knew where the blind spots were, so
That
That's-
scans. It makes sense.
yeah.
Maybe you can even see the camera really easy.
Wait, didn't Meekins go behind the?
No,
No.
he crab walked beside it. He did a spy look.
Hold up, this is gonna bother me unless I check.
He
No.
just walked in front of it. You can't fast forward.
Well, the
I
blue
know.
badger is right in front of the locker where the other mark.
Yeah.
I'm
Your
trying to
answer?
determine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to determine if there is space behind it because you can't tell from this if there's.
It's not clear, but assume that. See,
Yeah,
he's
'cause
walking in front of it.
He walked in front of it. Did Meekins walk in front of it?
Yes.
Yes.
Hang on, I don't actually remember if he did. So I'm gonna check. I'm sorry to stall, but like I have. This is gonna bother me if I don't check it.
Don't get to see.
Oh, we don't get to see
No.
because the. Okay, all right. That's what threw me off.
It's fine. It's fine.
Fair enough.
Yep, it'll completely change that thing.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Well then, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use.
The question is, which item can prove something is missing on the floor plans?
The boy.
The blue
Take
boy.
the boy.
If he were green, he would die.
What about that piece of plywood?
The Blue Badger. Mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
Please look at the floor plans on the crime
Ha!
scene. The Blue Badger is not here.
So?
So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well,
Well, what?
that's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker.
What?
He was shot. Shot through the heart. So that means, just what does that mean?
It means it can be done!
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found in that locker.
Don't look at me, I didn't put it there.
Mr. Wright, think through it scientifically.
Emma,
On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker.
so that must mean that this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in?
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched boulder dash in my courtroom.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the
This
only
boulder is
possible
perfectly still.
explanation.
Sorry.
Sorry. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once but twice.
But how?
One time was captured on the tape taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time, which apparently Jake Marshall deleted,
I guess.
someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been. Had to have been.
Had to.
Okay, I guess we don't know when the tapes get deleted. What exact times?
Wouldn't it make sense for Phoenix to request videos of all the other times of people coming in?
You'd think.
Yeah.
But that would also mean or depend. Is this the only footage they have?
It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered.
Oh, objection! That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim.
I don't blame you, but the murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker.
Objection. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred.
When did the first incident occur?
To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room.
That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this.
Very well, then tell us. When exactly did his first incident occur? As Mr. Edwards said, proof must be presented.
Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that.
The records. Right.
Now then, will the defense please present this evidence? What shows when the first crime took place?
Donk. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required.
An ID card? Oh, the ID card record!
Officer Meekins brought the blue badger panel into the evidence room at...
Let's see, 450. If the crime took place before that time, it would be 440. Ah. Oh!
Oh my god.
Well,
Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done?
Miles
Man,
Cook-
never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out who couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it.
I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from the luminol test that the blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood.
That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away. By the real murderer.
I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible.
That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room.
Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. 777-7777.
Talk about a lucky number.
Hey. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room?
Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation.
At that point, he probably already lost his card, so that makes sense.
He
That
went
scans.
in with 7777777.
Mr. Edgeworth,
Yeah.
please look into this ASAP.
And if he had to go in there to do his evidence transfer, then it makes him it's like, hey, I need to do this thing and I lost my card. Sorry, can you help me out? Let me in. Sure, good friend. Stab,
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 stab.
stab. Yeah.
We're buddies,
Stabby,
stab,
stabby.
stab. Find out whose ID number is 7777777.
That's 1-7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I am unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present.
What?
Explain yourself, son. The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher.
Why do you know that?
Someone who is a so-called executive officer.
Why does he know that?
We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. Can we
Afraid
get
of
a
that?
warrant?
Maybe if all similar
The
name.
higher the first number, the higher the rank.
But that's ridiculous. Just how?
I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. Didn't they say they were randomly assigned? There
But
was
maybe
one...
like important people have the same number of all of them.
Or they get their favorite number.
Right.
Because they're
There was
number one.
There was one. That's why my password is 0001 because I'm number 1. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
If an official charge is filed against an executive, it's accepted.
An official charge.
You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. So basically, we can't look it up by the number. We'd have to charge an officer and look up their number after that. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. I'll write it down. Make it liable. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her. The defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive.
Lana?
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number and it's not 7777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. No, it's not what I wanted to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident.
The SL9 incident?
Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence?
Oh! Yet another character. One of those 3 voices.
Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor?
I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
Did you say we should keep going until the end of this section?
Yeah, we're real close, real close.
Okay. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, we...
Occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did.
Oh.
Lana,
I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant! Just what are you saying?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did?
Chief Prosecutor, you didn't! I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
Why won't you answer him?
Because she's not required by law. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. This is still answering, though. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved.
but Lana,
Even if it involved forging evidence.
Shit.
Timing!
Was that one better?
Much better, much better.
thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. No!
Yeah, right, man.
Order! 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 Order!
Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day.
Yeah!
Is that could be too good? Yeah!
To be continued.
I am so sorry, Lunar and Jay. I'm
No.
sorry.
It happened!
Meekins is dead!
This is what happens when there's usually only 4 characters on the screen for like hours at a time.
Save again. Alright. And with that,
Yo, no, no more.
yeah,
no more.
no, I'm not playing anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're done. All right, well, that was a lot.
That was a lot.
Yes.
That was
Quite a
so
bit.
much.
That moved
Just a
really
bit.
quickly.
It did.
And with
Oh.
that, I think we're gonna have to call. Well, we're definitely calling it for tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
but next time, I guess we're figuring out what's really going on. Next
I
week,
want to say that I think we have 2 more streams left of this game.
that sounds about right because we have one more day of investigation, and then it's the last day of trial.
Yeah.
Phoenix was very clear, like, we would have to wait for tomorrow!
Yeah.
Or next time,
Yeah.
whichever. All right, and speaking of, what is tomorrow?
Tomorrow, there's been a change in plans.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We should probably bring that up on stream.
Yeah, it has been mentioned, but we were supposed to do Minecraft Dungeons tomorrow. However, 4th of July happens on Saturday, and we didn't quite notice.
Yeah.
I know.
So, we've swapped those 2 days. So, Variety is happening tomorrow at 7 p.m., and then we are having the Minecraft Dungeon at 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Thank you guys
Yes.
for putting up with my swap.
No, we're
I
just-
had the Goddamn Night Shift
this
last
to
year,
us.
so we had this too much.
I am the worst.
It was a raspberry jam soup.
Raspberry soup.
Oh yeah, raspberry
Wow.
jam soup. Oh,
No.
That was-
tasty.
all right, sure. It was
Eh.
it was that
It was that.
forged evidence soup.
Oh, that's true.
It was forced soup.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Good night, everybody.
night.
See you next time.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Night.